Today I'm going to show you how to write a paragraph using a firstly, secondly, finally structure. I think my paragraph would get a band 9, but it doesn't contain anything too strange or difficult, just clear, logically organised ideas. Remember, this is just one paragraph, so I'm aiming for about 90 to 100 words. The topic is the disadvantages of living in a city. City life has several drawbacks. I always start with a short, simple sentence to introduce the topic or main idea of the paragraph. Then I start my firstly, secondly, finally structure. So, firstly, the cost of living in a city is usually much higher than in a town or small town or village. So my first disadvantage is about the cost. Now I'll explain this a bit more. Inhabitants of cities have to pay higher prices for housing, transport, and even food. Then I'll start my second point, the second disadvantage. Secondly, urban areas tend to suffer from social problems such as high crime and poverty rates in comparison with rural areas. So my second point is about social problems in cities. Here's my final point. Finally, the air quality in cities is often poor due to pollution from traffic, and the streets and public transport systems are usually overcrowded. There are two ideas in this sentence: poor air quality and overcrowding. The last sentence explains the result of these two problems. As a result, city life can be unhealthy and stressful. So, I've written 93 words. If you could write 2 paragraphs like this, plus an introduction and conclusion, you would easily have 250 words. Let's have a look at some good vocabulary in this paragraph. First, I've used drawbacks instead of disadvantages. The cost of living is a good phrase for this topic. I've used inhabitants of cities to talk about the people. In English, we like writing lists of 3 points: housing, transport, and food. Urban areas is good because I've avoided repeating cities too many times. Suffer from social problems is good language. I've used such as to introduce some examples. Crime rates and poverty rates are good collocations that you should know for IELTS. And I've made a comparison, in comparison with, that's a phrase that you should know. You can see that I've compared urban areas with rural areas. So air quality is poor, that's good language. Due to pollution from traffic, this is extra information, so I've put it between 2 commas. Public transport systems, that's good language. And finally, 3 adjectives: overcrowded, unhealthy, and stressful. Just 2 more points to notice about this paragraph. Firstly, making general statements. You can see that I've used words like usually, tend to, often, and can be. This is a good technique in written English. It helps me to make general statements. So the cost of living in a city is usually much higher than in a small town or village. Maybe not always. And urban areas tend to suffer from social problems. Maybe not all cities suffer from social problems. So these are general statements, and the examiner will like this. Finally, here's an example of some very good linking between ideas in 2 sentences. I'm saying that the air quality makes cities unhealthy, and the overcrowded streets and transport systems make cities stressful. So using as a result, I've linked air quality with unhealthy and overcrowded with stressful. So, in conclusion, good main body paragraphs are the key to a high score in IELTS Writing Task 2. In my opinion, the firstly, secondly, finally structure is a very easy way to write excellent paragraphs.